Hey everybody, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. It Came from Lathe is one of the missions that we have that's around Jewel. We also have the Tylo Monument. That's the primary mission we're supposed to go towards. Both of these things are around Jewel. And we're not going to do Tylo Monument today, but I would like to get started in sort of setting up a way for us to do missions around Jewel a little bit easier. And the way to do that is to get ourselves some sort of fuel depot around the surface of Eve. Around Jewel. Sorry, there's no surface on Jewel. Get ourselves something in orbit around Jewel. And I'm thinking just do another space station. I think it's probably a straightforward thing, and it makes the mission a little bit more interesting. So we're going to go and do the It Came from Lathe today, but we're going to do it in a really interesting way that kind of gives us a lot of extra stuff to go on with, and also sets us up for easier missions around Jewel. Specifically the Tylo Monument in the future. Let's go to vehicle assembly. All right, so this is our station design. It's very similar to the previous station design that's around Eve currently. I've made a few modifications though. This time we're gonna send the fuel tank up with it. So it's all going up as one launch. This part here is going up in one launch. However, I am still gonna include the docking ports down here because, as you'll see, I'm just trying to make this mission more interesting. As you're gonna notice, we are going to need to detach this thing anyway and then be able to move it around and put it back. So we are going to include the docking port there. The main science module of the station does not have such a docking port, so it will not come detached. You're also going to notice there are some lights on this, and they're actually blinking. If we're docking in the dark side, it might be nice to know what we're looking at. And so yellow lights means big port, blue lights means small port. Just another little tiny thing that could help us. If we're down here, of course, we still have the green and red to show us the orientation of the station and stuff down there as well as our border lights down there. We're still using the two really big Colossus solar panels for the station, and that's now the only solar panels that are on this station currently. There will be a few more intermittently as we go, but those are the only ones that we're going to rely on for now. At the top, we still have our communications here, so anything that's in the area, we don't have to send vessels to land around Jewel that have big dishes on them anymore. They'll just rely on this, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, pretty much everything is as you remember, and of course the tug is here as well. I've painted everything green for Jewel. And there's also blue lights along the top here signifying the side with the small port, and the yellow lights here signifying the side with the large ports. I've also made a couple of additional modifications to this. We have batteries on the sides here, so this has a little bit better battery supply to it. In addition to that, we also now have lights. There are a couple of lights here that can be enabled to shine down in that direction so that we can see where we're going. We also have now these little lights here. I wanted to try two different kinds of lights just to see what they're like. And so there's these types of lights here as well. And they have a slight pitch angle to them that allows them to point forward, essentially giving us more light where we need it. I'm going to say, I'm not sure which angle we really need here. I want them to go forward. So I guess maybe it is like 17 or 18 degrees. They keep snapping back to 15 though. Am I only allowed to go in increments of 5? If that's the case, why let me do this at all? I think I'm only allowed to do increments of 5. All right, well, we'll try, I don't know if 15 was a good one or not. We'll try 20%. I mean, if nothing else, we'll still have lights in front of us, right? So I just wanted to give another lights a try. All right, so this vessel is going, like I said, with the big tank. And so we need to be able to send this up, but I'm also sending the tug on this same launch, and we're going to be detaching this shortly after we achieve orbit of Kerbin with this, and then docking it to the side. And we're also going to be moving things around while we're in orbit of Kerbin, because we're going to send the Kerbals that are going to Lathe with this launch as well. And they are going to be on a separate landing vehicle that needs to be able to maneuver from Jewel to Lathe, land, lift off, and come back to the station to refuel. All of that stuff has to happen in a single vehicle that doesn't stage. Okay, so there's some complexity to that. And so because of that, I don't need to do it this way, but I thought it'd be interesting to do it this way. We're going to assemble the station a little bit differently, not in its final form, if you will, And then we're going to dock our lander, our crew vessel that's going out to Lathe. We're going to dock that to this. Then the whole thing will transfer to Jool at one time. We'll transfer everything to Jool, together. When we get ourselves in orbit of Jool, then everything will get separated, reassembled, and then the vessel can then go off to Lathe. So we're basically taking this thing apart in orbit, putting it back together, and you'll see why, because we don't want to have a ton of torque, and obviously the vessel that we're sending to Lathe is going to have a lot of mass to it. And so we need to be able to dock it somewhere that's not on the side of this thing. So that's why I'm moving it around. Effectively, the plan is to take this off and pop it here. Then the tug will end up, going in where this is, so that the tug and the science module end up being opposite of each other. This thing ends up being on that side, and then our lander can ends up being straight ahead on there. So we end up with most of the mass ends up being straight ahead, right in front of that center of thrust, basically. And we kind of focus the center of mass as close as possible to the physical center of this vehicle so that there's not a lot of torque. It's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be fun. So first, let's go ahead and get ourselves connected up here at the top. I'm going to take this. We're going to... do I want to spin it around in circles? Oh, maybe I don't need to spin it. These adapters are incredibly susceptible to heat. I'm recording this before they patch the heat, so maybe that's a bad thing, but I don't have time, so I have to do it. So we're going to send this up to orbit. I may need to adjust how fast I ascend here in order to prevent that from burning up. Hopefully, when they rebalance how heat works, we won't have adapters just spontaneously getting very, very hot and blowing up when we're at 68,000 meters or 68 kilometers. Yeah, I said it right. Hopefully that doesn't happen. What we're going to need to do here is I'm going to grab a stack separator. Am I doing a separator here or yeah, I think I'm going to do tell you what, why don't we try this? This might be a little weird, but how about we try this? We'll say this goes like that. And then we'll do another one right on top of that one that goes like that. And that should... yeah, that should keep these two things together the entire time. And then I'll go in and pop this on top of there like that. And I'll just need to make sure the right one is decoupling first. So it'll be this one first. Then the tug will get itself to where it's, has a trajectory that puts it in an atmosphere. Then I'll get rid of this. I'm trying to get rid of the space junk. The stack separator is a good idea, but I would need to get rid of it before we achieve orbit if I'm going to do that. That might be a little complex. Yeah, because I would have to then dock to this and then achieve orbit after that, and I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just play it to where I don't have to hurry. This solution gets it to where I don't have to hurry, so I'm going to try this. So this is how it's going to attach. It's not very elegant, but it's going to attach that way. Next, at the bottom, we do not currently possess decouplers that are as wide as this tank is. That is unfortunate. So we are going to have to do the silly looking thing again. We're going to take the decoupler on the bottom there. Notice it doesn't go all the way around. It's the silly looking thing again. Yep. And then from there, this stage does need to eventually deorbit itself, remember. So I messed that up last time. I'm not going to mess it up this time. We're going to go into here. We're going to grab a probe and we're going to slap it there. And so now we have a guidance unit here that's got its own little bank of electric charge, and it also has 10 kilonewtons as a reaction wheel. This will be able to separate from the station when we're all said and done, and then it will be able to get the hell out of there. And then we can, of course, rearrange this and put it back together once we get to Jool. So there's the order of operations for all these things. There's a procedure written out for this, yeah, just like the old days, huh? And probably just like we do today, too, right? I'm not an astronaut, I don't know, but I assume there are procedures that happen in a certain order when you go to space, and we're going to have a proper one here, not just staging, but when we do things and how. All right, so Next, we need a tank that is going to be able to transfer this thing. We need to be able to move all of our stuff. For that, we're going to just slap in an adapter tank like this. I was considering just having that be it, because remember, the fuel supply in this tank can be used for this engine. But we're going all the way to Joule this time, and we need to immediately use that fuel supply to get our people home. So I kind of want to have a bigger bank of fuel here, if you know what I mean. So for that reason, I think what I'm going to end up doing is popping an extra one right here, just because I can. So we're going to use an extra one right here. Then this is going to end up being very heavy. This is not the only thing that this engine is going to have to do. It's going to have to also be able to handle the mass of the other craft that's going to be landing on Lathe. It's going to have to handle that in addition to what it's already handling. So my thrust to weight and everything, like how long my burns are, I think I'm okay with using a Mammoth here. It's not very good for specific impulse, but it's going to have the thrust that I need to make this happen, and I'm already not liking how that looks. I wish I had bigger engines. Tell you what, why don't we... it's going to look silly, but do I have a smaller tank by chance? Is it just this one? I don't really want to do that. I was going to do something like this, but I don't know about that. Maybe that'll be okay. I mean, it doesn't look as silly. Or we just do it and don't care about how it looks. I mean, we could just do it, you know? I just wish I had the proper form factor for everything. We'll see how the numbers work when we're done, and then once the numbers are known, then we can adjust it if we need to. Okay, so in order for this thing to actually push us, we got a 126 thrust to weight ratio right now, and that's in the surface of Kerbin, right? Yeah. All right, but we don't have very much delta V. It's just it's a small amount, and on top of that, this is the stage that's supposed to take us where we're supposed to go. And so if I only have that much delta V with this right now, it's not going to get hardly any better. But we can again dip into this fuel supply as we go. We just need to hook it up with that fuel line again. So I'm going to do that. Also, something I didn't notice before, and maybe some of you guys didn't either. These fuel lines actually are only one direction. They don't actually work both directions. I thought that was interesting, and you can see that by, again, the thing I didn't notice before is that there is an arrow on this. It's pointing in a certain direction, right? So the fuel goes from this side to this side, the side you start at to the side you end at. So you can very well see the difference here of the 5237. And then if I was to, say, swap this out, trying to do something like this, if I was to swap this out, like, yeah, these two things are still connected to each other. Oh, it just swapped it. Yeah, it kind of auto does it sometimes too. Here, let's see if I can make that happen again. There. Okay, so now we have the fuel line still connected between these two things, but I don't get the benefits of the fuel because the fuel line's pointed the wrong direction. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting thing, and I wanted to share it with you. So you have to make sure you're going to the right direction. There it goes. Okay. So with that, we're going to have 5237, which is much more favorable. I like 5237, but again, you have to remember that we're supposed to have a lot of fuel left over when we get to Joule, because this is supposed to be a refueling station. So yes, this gets me enough in this stage, assuming this is what we have in orbit, right? We have this much in orbit. Yes, we have that, but I don't know if it's good enough. And I also don't know whether or not we're going to be able to lift this thing off entirely. So we need to go higher. So let's get this thing up higher a little bit so we can adjust our actual launch stage here. So coupling, go to large. And again, I know it looks really stupid. Nothing I can do about it right now. They don't give me decouplers. You give me all these things and you don't give me the decouplers that are, you have to do more research to get that. It's, I don't know, whatever. It's not my call, man. I think probably what we'll do here is we'll go big. Like so, out like that. And then this is a really, that's a big ass engine, man. We'll go out like this and then probably down with a big guy here. And then we'll slap a Mammoth at the bottom of that. And then from there, I think what we'll do, because there's no way our thrust away is going to let us get off the ground now. 0.63, yeah. From there, we'll do the same thing we did before. So we're going to need these tiny, where's the teeny tiny coupling here? I need these medium ones because I still don't have unlocked the big ones yet. We're going to go with 4 of them. I don't really care which orientation they're in, so we'll go like that. And then we're going to grab I think just the regular large tanks. Not the big tanks, but the large ones. That doesn't make any sense. Not the XLs, but the large. There we go. So we'll grab these ones. And then this is actually the form factor for the mammoth anyway. So we'll slap 4 more mammoths on there. And then I need to adjust again. Need to figure out, I can't move my camera. My camera's not responding right now. I'd like to, there we go. Zoom, there we go. Okay. It wasn't letting me do that. I need to come up. Let's move this again. I need to move all of it. I don't, I thought it was like an alt click or a shift click thing to move the whole vessel without having to click the root part, but I can't get that to work. I've been, doing the same thing that we had with Kerbal Space Program 1, and for some reason I can't get it to work. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just forgetting which button it is. But I've tried Alt, Control, and Shift, and I could have swore it was Shift, but it's fine. All right. So that is just below the main engine, so we should be sitting on our engines right now for that. Very nice. Couple of things I got to do then for here. We're gonna go back into our fuel tanks, and we're gonna make these things pointy. We're gonna go like that, and then like that, and then like that, and now they are pointy. Okay, good. Next thing, we're gonna do a couple of other things here too. We have the fuel lines already established for this. Yeah, that fuel line is already there. Excellent. Okay. So down here then, we want to do a similar thing. We're gonna take the fuel lines. All right, and again, from the same side here, we're just gonna go bop, and then down to this tank like that, so that all of these tanks will feed the center tank, just like we did before. Okay, let's check the staging. Also check the thrust away. We are at 145. It's not bad. I'd like it to be just a tad bit better though. So how about we take the top tank here with its, looks like it's got 15 tons worth of stuff. Let's empty that out. And we'll also empty out this one. So now it's just the big tank that's got stuff in it, and I think that's okay, although it's gonna make the transfer a little bit more difficult. Okay, we're gonna flippy flop this. We're gonna fill these top tanks up, and I'm gonna take the fuel out of this one. We're gonna bring that down to maybe this far. All right, now let me check the thrust to weight now. 151. Let's bring it down even more. We'll go about here. Yeah, let's see. I want to get to like 1.6. 154. Maybe we'll let 154 go. 154 might be all right. Okay. So with 1.54 as our thrust to weight ratio, we are basically ready to lift this off, I think. I'm going to do one extra step here. Not that I think it's really needed, but it might help us in controlling. And that is to get a control surface on the bottom of this thing on this stage right here. We're just going to put a control surface there. The other thing I'd like to do, actually, there's 2 other things to do. The first thing I'm going to do, extra thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to add struts to the side. So we're going to make sure that the top is stable, and I'm also going to make sure the bottom is stable. There we go. And then to help this thing in getting the hell away from us when we dock, sorry, not dock, when we stage, to help this thing get away from us, I am going to add, I haven't been using these, and it's a pretty good idea to use them. I'm going to use these little separatrons. Separation is kind of in their name in it. I'm going to use these little separatrons, and we're going to say maybe there, and we'll put another one on the other side of it. Let's say like maybe over here, like that. And should I put another one? I think this is fine. Maybe we'll put another one near the top. The idea here is to get these things to separate. It's in their name, right? get these things to separate away from the craft when I undock so they don't stick around. And that's what it's been doing, is it's been sticking around. And I'm going to implement that instead. So these things need to fire at the same time as the undocking. So it's these engines, then we undock with the Separatrons firing, then it's these two, and we can go ahead and merge those. That's fine. And then we have one at the top, yep, there, and then all of these, which is fine. Like, this is where the planning and stuff for later comes in. Okay, so I think this is a good stage. This is good for staging, I think. And we should be on the day side. It should be morning time. At least I saw the sunlight and stuff. Well, it's outside. You can see it. So we should be launching during the daytime. I should be able to see things without having to worry about lights. The only concern I have for launching this is whether or not this thing here is going to overheat, because these adapters are incredibly fragile to heat. They're just like overly fragile to heat, at least until the patch tomorrow, which when you see this video, it'll be the patch. It'll be the patch that on the day that you see this video. All right, I think that's good. I don't have anything else. Let's just launch this thing and go. And this is the start of our Jool station. There is actually one thing I want to make sure I do here. I think I want to make... all right, you know what? Tell you what, Bill can come with us. I was going to say make sure we don't have any Kerbals with us, but I think Bill can come. That's fine. Bill can be here. All right. Now let's go. Let's just hit the button and we'll go. Bringing Bill is... We'll just make sure we bring less Kerbals on the next time, because they're all going to be together anyway eventually, so it's fine. They didn't burn up. I had to regulate my speed quite a bit there, and it definitely wasn't as efficient as I wanted it to be because of that, but they didn't burn up, so we're good to go on that anyway. We'll go ahead and expand our solar panels here. There we go, just the bottom ones. You don't really need any of the other ones expanded. Now this station, this could easily just be like Kerbin's station too. Like, we're going to put it in orbit of Kerbin and we're going to be moving things around. But again, I think it's more interesting if we send this thing to Jool. And what I'm looking to do here, I don't know whether we'll have, I think we will have some fuel left. So what we're going to do here, one of the rare moments when we can do this actually, we're going to go to the resource manager. And I'm going to find the Methalox tank that is somewhat empty. This one right here. We're going to put that over there. Then we're going to find the ones that we're currently draining here. So we're going to put these two over here. And then what we're going to say is this is the in, those are the out. And then as soon as we get to where we're almost in orbit, we're probably right. Actually, we're good. We're at 113 already on our APOS, so we're good. We're going to transfer all that fuel out of here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and stage this. There we go. Gonna create some more separation here. All right, there we go. Now, we're not in orbit yet. We're still at 32, right? And so I don't know exactly how much time we have. Looks like we have 7 minutes. I think that's enough time. I think we could do it. I'm gonna go ahead and try it right now. It's a little risky, but I'm gonna try it right now. We're gonna say control from, where is it? Where's that probe at? The hell's that probe? Control from here. There we go. Control from here. All right. So we're control from here. Then we're going to decouple that stage at the top. So I need to go like this. Decouple. Okay. Oh shit. Yep, I know. Then we're going to make sure that we control from here. Let's control from this docking port. We're going to turn on our RCS system. Just get a little bit more separation here. So my controls are a little bit screwy. I need to rotate. Now I can have what I want. Good. All right. So what I need to do is I'm going to turn this way, and we're going to go like that. Okay. To really just get that completely free. And then we're going to get out of this. I need to get away from this stupid thing. Get away from that. Come on. Bring it back. There we go. Okay. Now we need to target this. All right. We're going to look at it. We're going to burn towards our target. That is away from our target. What? What is going? What? What? Oh my gosh. Control from the other side. Control from here. There we go. Oh my god, no. Whoopsie. Or towards the target, please. Towards the target. And it's very risky, I know. We're going to just get ourselves whopping right back over towards... Yeah, over towards the docking port. There we go. We're going to dock to this. Where we need to be. There we go. We are docked. All right. Very good. Go back to controlling from here. This is we didn't really need to do it right now. We could have done it once we were in orbit, but I was just doing it to get it out of the way. I wanted to deorbit those decouplers, and that's one of the reasons why I did it there, because like our parallax is still in the atmosphere, and so this is the perfect time to get rid of that thing so that will deorbit. Now I can, let's go ahead and activate our SAS. Point towards prograde, por favor. This thing is still hot for some reason. It's very silly. I'm really looking forward to them changing that and getting it fixed. Now that we're pointed towards prograde, we can time accelerate up towards where our... Honestly, this is close enough, isn't it? I think so. We don't really need to go to like 118 or whatever, but maybe we'll just have 120 be where we rendezvous with everything, and that can just, I don't know, I can just be where we leave from. I kind of wanted to leave in lower orbit than that, so, but it's fine. Especially since it's on the day side anyway, so that is the side we need to be burning from the dark side. So if our apoapsis is way up here on the day side, that's actually fine, and this is about where we'd want it. So actually everything worked out pretty close to what we needed. Now, in order to actually burn this and not have any torque at all, we're going to need to turn on our RCS. We're going to need to turn that on so that it can help us with this torque a little bit here today. So we're just going to do like this. We are firmly in space. And we can turn that off now. Just face towards prograde ever so slightly right now. And just give ourselves a little more cushion there. So about 75 is fine. Okay. So that takes care of step one, which is to get everything in orbit. Now it says we have 72 meters per second. That's just silly. We have a lot more than that. There's so much fuel in here. So I don't know what it's talking about. I don't think this game knows what it's talking about. Yeah, this stage is way up here for some reason. So let's go ahead and bring... Yeah, bring that down here, and then move it down here. 4657 is, well, briefly what it showed. So 4657, I guess, is what it has. Here's the next step, though. I need to get this stage to be on one of these other ports. All right, it doesn't matter which one. It just needs to be on one of these other ports. And doing this in the daytime would be preferred. So why don't we, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and control from here. And then, actually, it'd be better to control from here. Yeah, and then also, let's kill SAS really quick and just stabilize. Okay, so control from this port. Yep, then we're going to undock from this side. Here we go, undock. Alrighty then. Oh, shit. I love it. We need to... Why am I still attached? Did it not dock? What? Hello? I don't get it. Okay, there you go. Yep, separate. Completely separate, please. All right, we are controlling from the right port, hopefully. Oh, it's pulling me back in. That's what it is. There is a little bit of... I guess there is a little bit on that, isn't there? Okay, so I need to get to one of these docking ports. We'll just grab this one. Yep, and then we'll turn ourselves in the proper orientation here real quick. There we go. We're going to back up. Also want to... All right. What are you doing right now? You're being silly. Don't do that. I am confused as to why it is not rotating the way it's supposed to. It is not doing anything I'm asking it to do. It's doing nothing that I'm asking it to do other than just going back and forth like this. Okay. That's why my controls are borked. Come over like this. All right, now we're going the right way. So let's bring this down. Yep, bring this down. Yes, I know I could, you know, remove all these different controls from this. Like I can get pitch and yaw, like roll. We don't need roll on these, right? Like we can start with getting rid of roll. I think would be a good one. The roll is the one that really hits me hard here. All right, so we shouldn't need any correction with roll now. Let's bring this back over. Yep, and we want to get ourselves lined up. Now I could, just to protect my investment here, pull these in. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you not gonna... Really? I thought you guys were synchronized. What the hell? Okay, apparently you're not. I don't know what's going on. Get out of here. All right. Let's bring this back. Down where we need to be. Need to get ourselves facing the target. Come on. Again, my controls. Holy shit. Okay, so every time I switch vessels, it's like... Yeah, it's messing with me. All right, this is getting silly. I don't know what this is doing, but it's not doing what I'm asking it to do. It's almost like one of my controls don't work. Which, I did just disable roll, didn't I? But that's not the one I'm trying to do, to be fair. All right, don't give me that. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do roll. And now I should probably disable pitch as well. I think we'll disable pitch. And disable pitch. All right, now, hopefully, it's still doing it. Are you for real? I have to do them each one at a time? No wonder it's not working. Okay, that's why. All right, so for the time being, let's just switch them all back on and we'll just be wasteful. But I figured they were all symmetrical, but they are absolutely not in symmetry at all. That's what was screwing me over. It was only doing it from one direction at a time, and I wasn't accounting for that possibility, so I guess that's the way it is. Messing with my controls in the middle of flight. At least this is, you know, obviously a little safer than... We might actually just get this right now. It is not... It's not equal. Like, the nav ball? Is this not a target? Like, the nav ball was totally not showing me and facing my target. It was very strange. I know it doesn't seem very strange on your end. You're like, I don't know what he's talking about. I get it, but like the buttons I'm pressing, I've got a lot of experience maneuvering and docking things, okay? The buttons I'm pressing are not matching the movements that I expect them to do, basically. And then on top of that, I'm supposed to be controlling from here with this as my target, and I'm facing directly at it. And even up to the very moment I docked, my target was not on the reticle. It was very strange. But either way, it's done now. So we're docked here. So this is the hard part. Here comes the really hard part. And I think I would rather wait until the daytime to actually implement this hard part. That wasn't even the hard thing. But why don't we do this one and then, well, we have to bring them both back later anyway. We honestly have a lot of power, so I probably don't even need to do this. But what I need to do is to take this docking port and paste it on one of these two things. Okay. Again, this is all about trying to be interesting and not necessarily the best way to do this mission. Two separate launches going at two separate times would probably be way easier. But I'm just trying to be... Again, I'm trying to make it interesting. right, all the way down this way. And let's get ourselves back on the day side so that I can do this during the daytime. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, it's a little bit dark still, so maybe we'll just go a little bit more. There we go. I think we have plenty of light now, yeah? Plenty of light now. Okay, we want to take this docking port. We're going to control from here and undock. And this is the part where it gets really challenging. Let's bring these back in because this thing is heavy. That's why we've got thrusters situated on it, but it's still very heavy. So here we go. And reaffirming control from here. And we want to undock. Okay. Switch back to this. Excuse me? That is not at all how that works. That is absolutely not at all how that works. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Because that was bullshit. We're going to control from here. And we're going to go ahead and undock. And it didn't freak out this time. Or it did. What the hell is going on here? It's just undocking. I don't understand. Make it make sense. All right. Third time's a charm? Maybe? I don't know. Let's bring the solar panel in. And we're going to want to control from here. And let's undock and cross our fingers. And it looks like it's going to work. I'm going to face that as my target. I'm going to tell this thing to face that target. And I'm going to tell you to go forward because otherwise I'm going to be flowing way too far away from this thing. And I do not want to flow too far away from this thing. And oh my God, that torque is hitting me hard already. Wow. All right. It is going to be a challenge to keep this thing in check. So what I want to do here, if I can get it to just face the damn target, and it is not easy to do that. I need to target. So I want to flip this. All right. And I need to, let's say, control from here. And then I want to have that as my target. And then I want this craft to rotate. And while you're doing that, you are going to target this now. Okay. So now I've got the ship, I think, pointed the way I need to. I'm going to fire the engine here because this thing's getting away and I just cannot correct it. It is so heavy. Let's go ahead and get me facing the target here so I can see where my vector is here. Come on, get there, get there. Oh my gosh, I just can't get it to come up. Get up. It's not happening. Come on. There we go. Right there. Okay. Perfect. This is what we need right here. I need to be pointing right. Yep. There's my prograde vector right there. Stop. Son of a bitch. All right. Let's stop rotating, please. You just, thank you. Stop. It's so I'm doing this in real time so you guys can see how it's a little bit weird. This thing moves all over the place when you do not have the proper center. And I'm going to have to do something here. Rotate. Yep. Get up there. Face the target. So it's all over the place, and it's a little challenging to figure out where to go. You have to go very slow. You want to keep your speed of approach, if you will. You want to keep that really low because, especially with something like this, it's very difficult to move. It takes forever to rotate, basically. And when you start rotating, it's very hard to stop it. So you just got to be a little bit, you got to be patient. All right, this is a patience project right here. Look at it just maneuver all over the place. And I might be a little bit off here. I'm not sure I can correct this. Come on, get up there. There we go. Come on, get up there. Come on. Grab that son of a bitch right there. Come on. Get it. Okay. I don't think that was very fair. I don't think I earned that one, but it happened. We're there. Okay. So, fun times. That was difficult, but we managed it. And then the final thing to do is to quick save. Aha, yes. Make sure we save that thing. And then we want to go ahead and stop this rotation, if we can do that, please. Thank you. All right, and then we're going to... Oh, or not. Why are you moving? Stop moving. Why would you move? You have no target to look at. Just stop. Okay. You're still rotating. I don't get it. All right. Anyway, undock from here. Control, undock. Okay. So now we are going to control from here and then have that be the target. All right. And then what we want to do is we want to come on up here. Oh, this RCS system just constantly. Yeah, it's I need to do something about that. Like disable the like pitch control, roll, and all that stuff. Like I need to do that with my RCS thrusters. You have to do them with every individual thruster as well. It doesn't keep them like they're not symmetrical. So you have to go through each thruster one at a time and tell it that you want it to either pay attention to it or not pay attention to it. It's kind of sucky that way, but it is what it is. All right, we're coming down. I might be a little bit too fast. Yeah, let's stop falling here. Let's coast a little bit more gently here. There we go. Just a slow, gradual approach here. Back up a little bit here. There we go. And we're going to point towards our target, which is not in front of me. Hi, target. And then let's just get ourselves docked right down in here. Okay. And again, it's not very pretty, but... Oh, it's not going to give it to me. Oh, what the... I don't understand. I got very close, but didn't quite hit it. I tapped it at 0.1 meters per second, and the whole thing just explodes. Something is definitely going on with docking and like docking ports and stuff. Something is definitely wrong here. That is ridiculous. I have no idea how to explain. I mean... I haven't done a whole lot of docking in this game, but I've done tons of docking in Kerbal Space Program too. I have lots of experience using these tools. I have never seen it be this bad before, though, and especially in a relatively unmodded game. So this is very weird. Yeah, definitely a strange thing going on here with docking ports. One more time we will try this. Again, I have no idea why it's acting that way. Doesn't make any sense at all. So we will go ahead and one more time. We're just going to get some separation here this time. Let's pull ourselves back. We'll just get some good, like a good amount of distance this time because I feel like we kind of need it, I guess. We'll just do this really fast. We'll just whip over here using just like totally just use my eyes instead of the nav ball and just do it this way. All right, just back up. Turn your lights on. Or not. It didn't happen here. Maybe it's my wrong hotkey, maybe. All right, let's slow it down. And we're just going to approach the target. There we go. Should be a very easy dock here. There should be nothing wrong with this. This is a fine approach. Nothing wrong with this approach. Thank you. That was such a weird thing. Okay, so bugs aside, mission successful. Okay, we're just going to get our solar panels out if they still exist. Which I can't... Oh, they're right here. Right there. We're just going to get these back out again. All right. And then the next step in this mission is to get our crew capsule that's going to land out here. Now, is this oriented correctly or no? It is not. So I wanted the solar panels to be kind of lined up with these smaller docking ports. Well, this isn't the final place for this anyway. Yeah, we're undocking this and then putting it over here. So that doesn't matter. But we have to remember, like, when we move this again, that's what I want. Okay, so yeah, everything is here. Everything's in place. The station has its solar panels out. Let's go back to, after a quick save, because you never know, let's go back to the VAB to design our landing craft here. All right, so instead of using the command modules that we already have, I'm going to go over to tier 3 in the research tree, and I'm going to grab heavy orbital operations. It's going to give me this. This is what I'm looking for here. Because it's got the medium top part here, and I can go ahead and put a good docking port on that. But it gives me that large size, so I can use bigger tanks, bigger engines, etc. And I get the heat shield that comes with it. So let's go ahead and grab heavy orbital operations. I don't think I'm going to use the Labradoodle engine. It doesn't have a whole lot of thrust in atmosphere, and its ISP in atmosphere is terrible. And the engine I'm using for this craft has to be able to lift off of Lathe and get back to orbit and then get back to the station. So I need something that's a little bit more efficient in atmosphere, probably. Look at this text. Something's definitely going on with my game, man. I have no idea what's going on. It is crazy right now. All right, so we should have access to this. Perfect. I'll leave the green. We have the green here for Joule and everything. I think I'll leave the green for now. All right. And then we're going to want on the top coupling, we're going to want the medium docking port on the top there. All right, so this is what we're going to dock to that station component, lined up with the center of thrust now. So everything we have on this is what we're going to dock there, okay? And this craft needs to have, I would prefer if it had close to 5,000 meters per second. I think that is a good, safe number to have. We're going to need about 3,000 to get off the surface of Lathe and get into orbit. So that gives me 1,000 to get to Lathe and into the atmosphere and stuff. And then 1,000 to get back to the station. Doesn't give me a lot here, but it is enough. It's an amount that I think I can work with. But if we can overshoot that, I'd be happy with that too. The bottom of this, we need the heat. So we're going to go like that. We're not entering Lathe's atmosphere until the update because I'm not recording this. I'm not recording that part of this mission today. It's just I'm gonna do that when the update's out. But like lander, it's all about fuel. We need a lot of fuel here, and I want to be wide, which is why I was kind of leaning towards doing this, because it makes the craft a lot wider, and then with that width, I can maybe even add like a couple of engines. I don't know, like these vector engines look pretty good actually. I know normally it's not like you don't want to go bigger necessarily, but I think in this case, going bigger is justified because of the mission parameter. I think going bigger is going to be justified here. So like we do something like this, it's 4823, which is getting closer to what I want. If we step back and do this with you at the Rhino, then we're left with 55, which is great. And on Lathe, this gives us a 115, really. All right, we're getting closer to what I'm looking for then. But I still have stuff to add to it. The Rhino is going to be inadequate. And this does two things. Obviously, it gives us the extra thrust, the extra fuel. But it's also going to permit us to be wider. Get a wider base. And we will add... I think just put the vectors on the bottom, right? I think so. Like, why not? Just slap some vectors down there, and now this thing has almost 7,000 meters per second now. So I think that's going to be a winner. We're going to put this as low as possible, and we want to center it with the door. 7,000 meters per second. I think that's worthy. This is a worthy lander now. Indeed. Do we... the thing is, like, with the landing legs, because I'm looking for them. Where'd they go? Ground. It's the wheel symbol. The landing legs are nice and all, but they're really light duty, right? We don't have the big ones anymore. So like, I don't think there's any use to putting these on here. You know, like I don't think it's going to help us. We don't have the heavy duty landing legs anyway. So it's going to be these engines like this that are going to get us there. I think that's how it's got to be. And so we're going to be relying on parachutes, 4 of them, and then also propulsive landing at the same time. Propulsive landing is going to take out whatever the parachutes don't. That's what propulsive landing will help us do. So we can go in like this, and then maybe we add another row underneath that, and then maybe one more row underneath that. I know it looks weird, but it doesn't get in the way of the ladder, and everything's going to be fine. Speaking of which, ladder. Ladder is going to be a challenge here because it comes out and over, and I absolutely need a ladder for this. So it kind of sticks out, and that's my issue right now, is it's sticking out. So Maybe instead of sticking out, we rotate you out like that. Yeah, so the ladder will kind of kick out that direction. As you climb, you're also coming out. So that I come out about like this. So look, again, the ladders kind of meet each other. So there's where the one ladder is, and then this one comes in and starts there. I think those two ladders can work well. So we'll go ahead and close those up. Now, this ladder is, of course, kind of in the part, the tank is kind of doing this weird thing with it. And I don't care. I'm not gonna bother remaking that right now. My daughter's waking up. This is bad. Need to get this video done. All right, so here is our majestic rocket. It's got a lot of stuff going on the bottom here, but effectively, without these boosters added, which I've put on here, without this, these 5 Mammoth 2s give this craft a 1.29 thrust to weight ratio on the surface, and that's just too low for me, man. So I've added these boosters here to help that out, and it's because I'm loading up all of these tanks, and there's these extra tanks up here too, so there's more mass, and this thing is just more massive than what we've sent up before. And I'm actually thinking, because of the engines I have here, and the thrust capabilities of this side, that this actually may be what pushes the station to Joule. I may use this side instead, which if I do that, I may not even need the other stage. Like, I might just redirect all the fuel here and just get rid of that right away. We'll see how that works. I'm not entirely sure that's the best course of action, but if nothing else, we can suck fuel out of that thing as we go. So all right, this thing should easily get where we need it to go, and I believe we're lined up and everything appropriately with the station too, to hopefully intercept it on the way up. But I may not have lined that up correctly. We'll see. I don't even remember at this point. It's another day. This is not correct. 6,961. You're just lying to me right now, and I don't appreciate it. Okay, game? Yeah, there's just no way that's an accurate reading, so we're going to ignore that. I do need to make sure I get rid of the nose cone at some point as well, so I'll have to take a look at that too. So let's go ahead and hit this button. Hopefully we see the Delta V numbers correct to something that is significantly higher than that. There we go, 9287. I like the look of that. All right, let's go ahead and hit this, and off we go. So you can see how the boosters are laid out. We've got these fuel tanks on the top of them that are feeding fuel into the side tanks. So the side tanks will last a little bit longer than the boosters. And then, of course, the side tanks get jettisoned as well, and they are all feeding with the fuel line into the center tank. So everything just feeds right in with fuel lines, just like people like. Just like I've been told countless times in the comments in the beginning videos. So that's pretty good there. We also, a couple of other things I added in between the cuts. There's parachutes on the tops of these here. So they're going to help us land in lathe as well, I think. And then we also have these monopropellant tanks right here. We're using these ones, these inline ones, instead of the radially mounted ones, because the radially mounted ones just really don't have a lot of monopropellant in them. I guess that's the best way to say it. They just really don't have much going for it. And so I wanted more, and so I'm going to use these instead. Of course, the capsule itself has, I think, like 0.36 tons. More than enough monopropellant to do what we're looking to do, like, at least is what I'm getting at here. We have more than enough to do what I need to do. All right, we're at 10K. I should be at 45 degrees by now, so let's just tilt over a little bit. We're a little bit slow on that. I'm noticing my solid fuel boosters are right in line with my other stage, which is not what I was looking to do. I wasn't looking to have that be the case. I might want to pull back a little bit on my other stage just to kind of give them a little bit extra life. I think I do. I'm also going quite fast here, so let's pull this back a little bit. That should give these engines a little bit more life than the boosters, so we can get rid of them first. There we go. And of course we have separatrons on this now, so we should have a nice clean separation now, yeah? Oh, doesn't that look nice? It looks so much better than it used to, doesn't it? So much better than my previous separations. My engine noise is gone. That's curious. Hey, can you get rid of that, please? There we go. And another beautiful separation. Beautiful, indeed it is. Yep. All right, so now we're on this stage, of course, until we're in orbit, and that is a tall order because I'm not entirely sure if this thing has what it takes to do it. I'm looking at it. I'm not entirely convinced. I may activate these engines to give it a little bit of help because I'm not convinced. We'll see though. I got a minute and a half left until apoapsis and it is still climbing, so we might get lucky here. This might end up being perfect. I do wish I had my my engine sounds though. That'd be nice to have, wouldn't it? Let's just have you face towards the prograde for now. Where's the station? Yeah, I didn't line that up very well at all. Station's probably over here at default name 22. It's also not in a circularized orbit. That's intentional because it's going to be transferring somewhere else. But yeah, it might be just a tad bit harder to rendezvous with that. Maybe not. I mean, we're kind of launching to where our apoapsis will be very similar to, you know, where that one's is. So we might get lucky on that. We'll see. We are going to raise the apoapsis up to like that 118 mark. So we're going to keep burning even though, and I need to have that time anyway to get into orbit. I wonder if it happens if I turn this off and turn it back on. Oh, also I need to do this. Yeah, I need to get rid of that. And I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen because that's in front of me now. So that's in front of me now. That's not a good thing. Maybe, just maybe, I can get around that. I'll just go nice and slow. Then we'll pick our nose up. Come on, pick your nose up. Oh boy, I think we're gonna hit it. I mean, if it just donks off of us, like just a little tiny boink, it's no big deal. Like if it's just a tiny little love tap, then whatever. But I don't want to hit it. I don't want it to hit hard. So just get it over with. There it is. Okay, and we're clear. All right, let's go. Get rid of that nose cone there. And now we just keep going and hopefully get where we need to be. I need to nose up a little bit here instead of pointing at prograde because we're not going to make it otherwise. I'm seeing 26 seconds to apoapsis. Come on now. Don't do that to me. 25. At least it's not 1 second equals 1 second. You know? Oh, there we go. 26. Perfect. Excuse me. Let's just hold the line here. And we should be good to go. And of course, this stage needs to deorbit as well, as it's not supposed to come with us. So the entire intention is to get rid of this thing. And when we do, the Separatrons will also get rid of that really fast as well, which is kind of nice. Okay, not my cleanest docking job, but It worked. All right. The game let me do it. I mean, again, I think Kerbal Space Program 1 was a little bit more complicated to dock to. I think it was a little less forgiving on your angle of approach and stuff, but this one's fine. So I actually have an interesting dilemma here because this is a Mammoth, Mammoth 2 on that side. And then on this side, we've got a Rhino, which has like a quarter of the thrust, might be a third of the thrust of this thing. And then we've got 4 of these bad boys here. And I think this combination is actually more efficient than that one is. So I think I might just use this stage to transfer us. I don't know if that's what I'm going to play here, but I might just do that. But we've got all of our stuff docked here and ready to go. And if we control from this pod right here, and we tell this thing to face prograde, that should orient us very slowly, might I add. But I guess I could hit R and it will go a lot faster because we do have a lot of monopropellant. We do have a lot of RCS thrusters on this because every stage here has them. So we could really maneuver quite well with that. I am a little bit concerned about the amount of fuel that I actually have on the lander for Lathe. I think I might be just a little bit under it. And so what I might choose to do instead is to take the whole damn thing to Lathe. Okay? And then that way I can use the station's fuel source to get down to Lathe. And then when I lift off and get back into orbit of Lathe, I think anyway, I should be in a condition where I can get back to this as long as this is in orbit of Lathe, and then I can bring everything back to Joule from there. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to run, but for now, I do have to move fuel around manually. We don't have... Well, I mean, you know, these all have crossfeed enabled on them, I think. Yeah, crossfeed's all enabled through here, but I'm not entirely sure if it's not going to magically work, right? If we take a look at our resource manager, we have a lot of Methalox tanks. And the big one, the big dark one here, that's, you know, like 80% full. And then these ones here are pretty much full. So we got a lot of fuel over there. Right, we should be able to get pretty much wherever we want with the amount of fuel we have on this thing. So I'm digging this. I think this is going to be our trip. All right, this is going to be our trip over there. SAS is just freaking out with these engines, man. Yeah, I'm thinking this is doable, guys. We're gonna head over to Joule with this, and then as far as that maneuver goes, I'm not sure because it doesn't show me my delta V numbers over here, and so because it doesn't show me delta V numbers over here, I probably can't even like plan a maneuver. It probably won't even let me. What? That's weird. So it thinks I'm pointed retrograde right now? Does it think I'm... I think it does. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So I'll have to look at that too. But I have to save that for next video because I ran out of time for myself today here. So and I want to get you guys this by Tuesday. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. For the next video, we will take this to Joule. We'll go ahead and get it sorted out over there. We're going to bring this thing down to the surface of Lathe, bring it back up, and then rendezvous with the station. I want to do all of that next video. So if you're into that, don't miss it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.